Okay, I think we're live now. Okay, looks like we've been live for a little bit. So hello everybody. It is Saturday, July 26th, and it is hot outside. One of us is outside. I'm here with Brian Terrell from Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations and with Will from WillStar Monsters and Mysteries down there. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, Dave?
I am good.
Nice.
You know, we're indoors, even though my background shows outside. And Brian, he's actually out in the field sweating a lot, probably.
Yeah, he is. And the humidity out there.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're in the shade.
So, anyway, thought we'd bring you guys on and talk a little bit about I just released my new book, and we'd talk about that a little bit. And both of you guys have a pretty good part on it in it. Say hi to who we got in chat. First of all, looks like we got Gary Spock Sr.,
Gary,
Sandra Piper,
Sandra.
Got Joe. We got the Squatching Cowboy, and my buddy David Perkins, and who's that other one I saw?
Yeah.
If I missed anybody. Got Blue Line Bigfoot. I think those guys are way up in New York. Good to see everybody, and hope y'all take part in the chat and ask any questions you've got or whatever. But anyway, like I was saying, just my newest book, Oklahoma Bigfoot and Other Reported Mysteries, just published. It's available on Amazon and ebook and paperback and in person from me if you run into me anywhere. I got Brian and Will on here because they actually have a pretty good part in the book, and Brian is muted now.
Musical.
Brian, your mic's muted. Oh, is it supposed to be?
How you doing, Sandra?
Well, I was concerned that the background noise might be too much.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. But yeah, in the first chapter of the book actually is about a trip me and Will. He come down here from Ohio all the way to Oklahoma, and we spent a couple of nights out in the Comiskey Mountains, and that was a pretty interesting trip, wasn't it, Will?
Absolutely was. It was a great time too. I'm glad I came there. That's for sure.
I tell you what, it was a win-win for me because Will bought some really nice steaks. We had steak out there. I'm surprised the Sasquatch didn't come in the camp and want one of those because those are really good.
Good camp cook, that's for sure.
Who is?
You.
Oh, hey, everything tastes better when it's cooked out in the woods. I don't know why that is, but it just is.
That is the truth.
You know, when Cornell, when he came down, he bought some steaks too, and my son Elijah, he was with us, and he cooked those. That was really good. And of course, Brian, he has a prominent part in the chapter. The first book, Comiskey Bigfoot, it was all about Bigfoot, you know, but I'll also get people that send me reports of sightings of other strange phenomenon in the woods, anything from orbs to such as that to other types of cryptids or paranormal entities. I don't know what you call some of them. And one of them being Dogman, which I haven't looked into any of that at all. But Brian, he definitely has. And
you're better off not looking into
it. Well, but we definitely, I definitely explored all those different avenues in the new book. And I hope y'all check it out. You enjoy it. Got a few more people popping in. Verax and Chris Del Cambre, welcome. Also got a pretty busy October coming up. Well, next month actually, starting August 9. If anyone is in Southeast Oklahoma on August 9, that's the second Saturday in August. While I'll be at the Bigfoot Museum in Tallahena doing a book signing event there, and I think Brian, I think he's going to be there as well. It's hot.
I'm going to try,
yeah. Nothing gets him tonight out there in the woods, but Anyway, and after that, in first weekend of October is the Honubby Bigfoot Festival. They don't call it that anymore. They call it like Bigfoot on the 40. Yeah. Is that right, Brian?
Bigfoot on the 40. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
new
so.
new people
It's at
run
Tribe
that, and
40 Acres. Yeah.
yeah, they have new people running it, from my understanding, and they call it Bigfoot on the 40 now. But it's at the same place the other was. So I'm not sure who all the. I know Lyle Blackburn is going to be there. Looking forward to visiting with him. And
Yeah.
who do you know the other people that's going to be speaking, Brian?
I know Shane Church and Brian Hoolan are going to be speaking.
Okay.
Some guy named David Wilbanks. Never heard of him.
Yeah, I never heard of that guy.
There's who else is going to be at the Hanabi? There's Lance Hightower,
Yeah, he's
fellow
been there
Dogman
before.
guy, and there's Chester Moore. That's
Chester. Okay, yeah, he's been on TV quite a bit on different
and I'm
shows.
probably I think Troy Hudson was listed as a speaker, so I'm guessing he's going to be speaking. And last couple of years, though, he's only hosted. I think so.
It seemed like there were 5 people on there, but hey, there's Chester, there's
Chester, Lyle, Shane and
Hightower.
Brian are one.
Yeah, they talk together. It may be 4 then.
In spirit. And,
I'm probably leaving somebody out.
Lance Hightower and Troy. I think that's 5. I may be forgetting somebody.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty neat deal. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and I think there's more people come to that little community that time of year than any other time of year. I think last time I was there, they thought there were like 3,000 people showed up. That's just crazy. What's in the community? Maybe 60 people.
Something like that.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Connie Bullard said she lives in southeast Oklahoma by the Comanche Wilderness. That's pretty country down here. Yeah. You can tell the people that's in that area that have moved there that are not from there. They do not pronounce Honubby correctly. If they're from out of state and move there, they call it Hanobia or something like that.
Honubby.
It's one of those words that's pronounced nothing like how it's spelled. So, yeah. So, Will, what have you been up to, man? You're muted.
Oh, you're supposed to give me the okay sign, remember?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Taking care of grandbabies, to be honest with you, and working on new videos and doing a lot of research, actually, into how YouTube is putting forth the videos out there now, because I've been making videos, but they're not getting out there to anybody. So something's going on. So I've been putting a lot of research into that, because there's no use in making videos if only 100 or 200 people are going to see them. You know what I mean? Even though I enjoy making them, I still want more people than that to make them. I put in a lot of hours. Like one of my 30-minute videos takes me like 25 to 35 hours to make.
Wow.
Yeah.
You put some effort into it then.
A lot.
Yeah.
So, I've been doing a lot of that, but with the new grandbabies, it's like taking up a lot of my time, but that's okay. My grandbabies,
I've got 2 as well, Will. I've got 2 little granddaughters.
Yeah.
One of them.
Me too.
I mean, they're more important to me than making Bigfoot videos, obviously. You know what I mean? And they're 3 and 2 years old, so right now they're like herding little cats, right? Like, it's like one of them's over here doing something, and one of them, oh no, stop this, stop that. Like, it's like constant. So they wear Grandpa out, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I really enjoy the historical accounts that you do, Will. Are you still going to kind of do some more of those?
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's not a whole lot out there. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone through a lot of them already. The ones that are still out there, I don't like. They're more like wild men instead of a Bigfoot creature. You know what I mean? It's like a person that has gone wild out in the wild, like wearing clothes and like starting fires and stuff like that. And to me, that's not what a Sasquatch is. So I kind of try to stay away from those. even though my channel says WillStar Monsters and Mysteries, I mean that is a mystery. I still haven't done that yet. Maybe I will one day, but there's still a lot of Sasquatch content out there to make videos about. You know, and sightings happen all the time. You know, even this year there's a lot of sightings going on. So, you know, there's more content to be made for sure. But the historical part, I search. If you can come up with not come up with, but find, you know, a report that I haven't done yet, I'd be more than glad to do a video on it. But
Okay.
it's hard to find that stuff out there right now.
Squatch and Cowboy put a message up there for you if you can see it. So don't feel bad, Will. My views are way down.
Yeah, there's something going on. A lot of channels are using AI now, to be honest with you. And I actually, some people commented in my channel accusing me of AI because I don't go on camera like in my videos, which is going to change though because of this. I think the algorithm might be thinking I'm AI also because I do use AI images in my videos just to tell the story, just to help tell the story. You know, like
Right, right.
they're like the Bigfoot picked up a boulder or jumped from a boulder. I'll make an AI image of that to show the people just to help visualize the story.
Oh yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm not trying to trick anybody. Obviously, it's AI, and I think maybe the algorithm is thinking, oh, maybe this is an AI channel. So I'm actually going to switch my format where I'm going to be on camera, telling a lot of the stories going
Well,
forward.
and I think part of it is us talking to Squatch and Cowboy Joe too, because I've noticed myself if I go a while without making a video,
Yeah,
when I first start putting them back up, they don't get as many views as they did. They kind of
that's
fall out of the algorithm.
that's
Yep.
that's absolutely true because I was making videos every couple weeks, you know. But like I said, now it's just my I have bigger priorities to take up a lot of my time right now. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got a 1-year-old and coming up on 3-year-old granddaughter, and
So you know what I'm talking about.
they're a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So,
love it. I love it to death. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
so I'm gonna, Brian. I was muting you a little bit because of the background noise and stuff. But yeah, okay. Now I got you. What do you got going on? You want to tell us about new in the red dirt cryptid world?
Well, we've actually been last couple months. You know, my views have been down too because I haven't been posting any expedition videos, which was
Mm-hmm.
kind of my thing for a while. And the reason is because we've been working on a little documentary where we've been going around the state doing different types of investigations in different areas. And we're putting it together. Coleman actually is doing all our editing. And it takes time to do it right. And he's very picky and professional. So it takes a lot longer than it does for me to put out one of my little videos. But during that time when all of our filming was going to that, I didn't put out any material for a while, and my views, I lost favor with the algorithm gods, and that it probably will take me a while to get back. Not that that's my concern. I mean,
Right.
I'm not doing this to make money. So. But anyway, we've been working on this documentary. We've been getting some really interesting evidence over the last 6 months, and we've had some pretty weird woo stuff happen to us. But that's all going to be in the documentary. And uh,
Cool.
yeah, Coleman made me sign non-disclosure forms, so I can't talk. No, I'm just kidding. We do. We have some really interesting audio that we did capture that is different from just about anything that anybody else has ever really gotten.
Cool.
And we sat on it for a month before we didn't know what to make of it. It was so weird. But anyway, we've been pretty busy. We've been staying busy now. Eric and I got invited to go to Beachfoot in Oregon, and so we
That's
decided to
right. You
turn
just
that.
got back from Oregon.
Yeah, that was we turned that into a 2-week adventure, which started out in the Sierra Nevadas, and then we ended up at Bluff Creek, which nothing happened at Bluff Creek. Of course, if you listen to what people say, they say there's not nearly as much going on there as there used to be. But then we went on up to Beachfoot, got to see the redwoods. Never got to see those. And but then we went on up to Beachfoot. We met a whole bunch of really nice people. We made friends with Marie and Bob from Mid Florida Bigfoot Research Organization. I hope I got that right. All I know is they're swamp researchers, and but we were both really out of our element in Oregon, and we kind of bonded on that, and we ended up spending several days together out in the woods after Beachfoot was over. We actually found Marie found footprints and some interesting evidence, and
I think I
we
saw the video
documented
of that.
that.
Y'all actually videoed that. Hey, so did you hike down to where the Patterson film area was?
No, I did not. When I was in Atlanta the week before, and I was just pushing my luggage across the street in front of the hotel, and I somehow managed to injure my foot. I still don't know what I did to it, but it hurt like hell, and it was hurting for weeks. It's starting to feel better now, but I can still feel it when I try to stand on my tiptoes. And but anyway, so anything more than like 3/4 of a mile was out of the question for me, and that
No, it is. It's neat that you got to go though.
Yeah.
I want to get
yeah.
to some of the questions over here real quick. David, Will said if anybody had any ideas, and David Perkins here brought some. I said, Will Starr, have you made a video over the Falk monster sightings?
I have not. That is one that I still actually need to do. I'm glad that you brought that up back to my attention, David, because I haven't made that one, and that's a good one to make actually. So thank you. That'll be on the list.
Yeah, Will. I mean, anybody in chat that has not checked out Will's channel, WillStar Monsters and Mysteries, he does a very good job of these old historical accounts of like digging into them, and he'll even have like the what do you use? Google Earth
Google Earth,
to
yeah.
show the
Pinpoint
areas and
locations
stuff
and
like
show
that.
everybody where it happened, yeah, so they can see the area, the terrain, how much woods are around, if it's like a city right there, or if it's like lakes and woods and mountains. That makes a difference. And in my opinion, about these encounters, like I get emails from viewers, and some of them are like, I was walking down Los Angeles at 3 in the morning. I'm like in the middle of the city, and I saw this creature underneath, and I'm like, well, that's probably not a Bigfoot there, bud. You know what I mean? But if it's out in the middle of the mountains and the woods and things like that, that actually makes a big difference to me. I like to look at the area in total and see what's actually around it, if there's connecting thoroughways to other woods or parks or things like that, where a Bigfoot creature could travel through and get from one place to another. To me, that's very important. I mean, I don't think these creatures are staying in one little patch of woods. I think they're transient, moving around. You may have to have
Body too.
places from one place to go to another, and ways to get there without being spotted.
Well, I mean, even in like here in the say Oklahoma, the Comiskey Mountains and all these areas, any I'm going to just say large animal, whether it's deer or whatever, stays in one spot for very long, there's going to be a lot of evidence of it.
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's that many of them. I think they have probably small family groups, if that, and they kind of stay on the move within certain areas. You have a thought, Brian?
What? I think they move around. I don't think they migrate around here. I think they do like mini migrations where they just kind of travel around and they manage their resources wisely, and they'll go to a certain area and they'll move around and they'll take from that area for a little while, and then they'll rotate and go back over to another place and just kind of switch out. But that's just my theory.
Well, I
The only
mean,
thing
I
that
agree. I agree,
Yeah.
though. I mean, they have to have other places to go to. They, like you guys are saying, the resources would just run out too quickly for an animal that size, or even a family unit of that. You know what I mean? They have to have other places to go to. That they're like, all right, it's time this time of year the blueberries are over here. This time of year the salmon are running right here. You know, so they go to different areas throughout the
You know,
year.
that's the way other animals do too.
Yeah,
You know, whether
exactly.
it's a bear or especially if they are a predator or an omnivore, whatever, like a bear,
Yeah,
mountain lion, bobcat, they're going to move within the area where things are. Of course, you know,
yeah, I
that's
agree.
the only thing that really makes sense to me because if they like built a hut somewhere and just settled down, I mean, they wouldn't be a mystery anymore.
No, they
You
would not.
know, this guy Verax said to Brian, I had a similar pain in my foot. What you described turns out it was caused by long haul driving. I guess you drive a truck. Connie Bullard here says that seems to have more wood knocks in the wintertime.
That's interesting.
And
Yeah.
one thing I would ask Connie, do you think that behavior is more in the winter, or are you in the woods more in the winter? I mean, I don't know. You may be out in the woods all year round, but I
And
know.
doesn't
Go
sound
ahead, Will.
travel further in the winter also because the foliage is off the trees and things like that? I mean, I would think,
That's true.
you know.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, these are all just little puzzle pieces, if you will.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Sometimes it's just too hot to go out in the middle of the summer.
I mean, you guys live
So,
down in an area where
you
you
know,
have a lot of conifers, though, right? Where it's just like a lot of pine. I mean, I don't know
well,
how many deciduous trees do you have down there where they're losing a lot of leaves? Do you go through that? Up here, it's like 90% of the trees lose their leaves. Down up here in Ohio.
well, now where I'm at right here and over where Brian's at, it's mostly hardwoods. But
Okay.
I mean but you got cedar trees, but your pine trees, if you'll notice when you came down here,
Yeah.
Will,
Yeah.
you get about 30 miles east of me, you start seeing the pine trees more.
Right.
Now, that being said, there's also a place just due south of me. There's a little small mountain range that's covered in pine trees,
Okay.
but it kind of links up. I'm kind of right on the edge of where you start getting into that. Like where I'm at, it's more what they call mountains. It's not like what we saw when we got down to the Comiches.
Yeah.
Comiches are a lot like, or the Ouachita Mountains, a lot like your Appalachian style mountains. Probably the most westernmost mountains of that style, probably. But yeah, Connie said that she lives right in the Comiche Wilderness and hears them all year, but more in the winter. So that's an interesting
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing to note there.
So, what do you guys
she
think they're
should
doing with
she
the
should
tree?
start a journal, log that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Will.
Yeah. That's a good idea for her, David.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Will?
What do you think the tree knocks are? Communication back and forth, obviously, or maybe a warning to keep out of the territory, or what else could it be? I mean,
I have no idea.
I saw on television the other day. They found. Now, I'm not trying to say Bigfoot is an ape, so don't jump on me. But they have gorillas over in Africa that are clapping now. Like when a researcher's coming in, they're clapping to warn the other gorillas that, hey, there's a researcher on their way in. So, go ahead.
I've heard. I don't know when you were down. I don't remember. Did we hear any knocks when you were down here, Will?
No, but we heard that whoop behind us. Remember that really
Well,
loud?
yeah, that was massively loud.
Oh, made us both jump out of our
We
chairs.
had the rock thrown into camp. That was that
was crazy.
That was some excitement there.
I didn't know what was going on, man. To be honest with you, I'm down there in Oklahoma, and I'm like, oh my god, where did it?
You were asking questions pretty fast, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, it's just me and you in the middle of the woods. There's him out in the middle of the woods, I mean, obviously, you know, we know we were protected a little bit, but still, you know, it was a situation where I just was like, wow, I've never been in that situation. My situation was a lot different. I didn't have anything thrown at me. I was the one throwing something. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's just, yeah.
Well, and you know, like we when Will was down there, we did not see what threw the rock at us.
No,
You know, but we were way out there. So unless
way out
somebody
there.
wanted to walk through that debris field for what, about 3 miles or
And we
so and
would have heard
rock.
them coming. We would have heard them
Oh
coming,
yeah, if
obviously.
somebody was driving, you'd hear them because that's
Yeah.
really not a road; it's a trail.
Yeah.
You know, and you know how slow we had to go just to navigate through all of the rocks to get there.
Yeah.
Brian, jump in anytime you got something.
No, nothing. I'm just trying to pay attention whenever the sun starts getting low. I'm probably going to have to go and get my thermal set up. It's so noisy over here. I don't think I'm even going to bother running an audio recorder. Um, but the noise is kind of covering us, for lack of a better way to put it. But we're basically watching a choke point, and we're hoping to see maybe a Sasquatch come underneath this bridge, because it's the only be to this location that we're talking about and stay in cover. So we're kind of counting on that. We'll see.
Brian, have you ever been to Big Cedar Creek? Connie's, yeah, Connie, I've heard of it. I haven't gone down there onto it.
I know where Big Cedar is, and I've uh, I've actually stayed at that RV park and rented one of their little cabins a couple years ago, and I have done research in that area, but a lot of people have, and there's a lot of it's not that far. Big Cedar's not that far from Area X, really.
No, really, it's not. Man, it's been a long time since I've been down there. Uh, the Area X place, it's been 20 years since I've been down in that valley, if you will. Arax has a question for all of us here, and I'm going to throw it up. It's 2 paragraphs, basically. It says, each of you brings a unique perspective to the table. Red Dirt from a boots on the ground investigative angle, WillStar from a research meets storytelling lens. In your experience, how important is it to balance physical evidence with witness testimony, and do you think one tends to validate or outweigh the other when it comes to making real progress in this field?
Oh, the infield investigators are way more important than what I do. Like, it's not even close. Like what David does, both Davids there, not even close. I just tell reports. I've been out with David before, and I've done my own expeditions, but I'm not out there like these gentlemen are. So, in my opinion, that is the way more important than what I do. What I do is I just get the information out there to the masses, right? Like that are interested in Bigfoot and never heard these encounter stories before. So I put it out there for them to hear in a what do you want to call it, an entertaining way, you know? So they're like, oh, and then I show them where these happened. I never tell anybody what to believe in my videos, if you notice that about me. Like,
Right.
I'll tell you what I believe, but I'm not going to tell you, hey, you're wrong for not thinking this is true. You know what? That's just not my job to do that. My job is to give you the information in an entertaining way and let you guys see the locations. And unless somebody doesn't want me to show the location, obviously, David, I've been with you, and I would show your location. I would never do that to somebody, you know. But if that doesn't matter, I like to show the location, give it to them in an entertaining way, and let them make their own decisions. But like I said, the investigators are way more important, in my opinion.
Well, realistically, out of all of us here, Brian
I
goes
keep
out
calm.
in the field loads more than I do. Is it because you're a teacher and have summers you can do more? Or?
Well, I've always been, even before I was a school teacher, I was out in the woods all the time, with Boy Scouts and stuff like that, even before. But I just love spending time outdoors. And
Oh, yeah.
but yes, being a teacher has aided that quite a bit. Although this year I've changed subjects, and so I've kind of had to. This summer I haven't gotten as much done as I wanted to get done, um, and I'm behind on everything. My case files and everything else. I'm behind. I've probably got enough stuff on my phone to do 4 or 5 videos, and I'm behind. But the field research, it is important, but in reality, the field research is, as a whole across the United States, hasn't yielded a whole lot of the results that we would have liked it to do, which kind of makes us think, you know, we need to quit doing the same old things we've always done. That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, if you're still out there beating on trees and doing it like they did in Finding Bigfoot, you're probably messing up, because they're smart. They clue into that, which is why I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but that's why I'm under a bridge right now, is because, you got to start thinking about different ways of doing things. Now, the historical research and documenting, I have the utmost respect for people that are over there and they're content creators. I do the finger thing. They're content creators, but as long as it's done in a non-fiction, I loathe fiction to a certain.
Uh-oh. We lost Brian.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
But yeah, this is a good time to segue into that, Will, to how much content on the internet is deliberately made up stories to sell a story, but it's put across as a real report. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There's a lot. I know that there's a lot. I've had people reach out to me that write scripts for other channels offering to write scripts for me. They're like, do you see the growth that this channel has gotten in the past year? And they go from like 30,000 subs to like 300,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm the one that writes the scripts for him. I can do it for you too. And I'm like, no, man, I that's not my game. Like what I put on my channel is authentic. There's no fiction going on here. I don't like to use made up scripts. But there are, unfortunately, a lot of channels out there that are doing it this way now because, they just want to make the money. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't like to make money, because I do. I put in a lot of effort, but what's more important to me is telling the truth about the matter, because I'm not just a believer. I'm a knower. I had my experience, right?
Right.
So I want the true information to be out there to the people, and it just, I'm not going to sit here and call out anybody, on a live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't.
There are definitely channels out there that are making scripts up and just making up.
When you told me the person that had contacted you and how many of these different big channels he wrote these made up stories for, some of the names that he mentioned, I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of obvious, but there are one or two I was like, really? Yeah. And I addressed that in one of the chapters on the new book called Hoaxes and Misidentifications. I'm like going, I love a good story. I love a good monster story. If you put it out there, just put it out there as a creepypasta or something,
That's exactly
I love
right.
those. But when you're putting out made up stuff as the real thing, that just puts a bad view on everybody that's looking into these things.
The way a lot of these channels do it, though, is they blur the line because they call themselves a storyteller channel, right? And then they're giving like stories that they're like out there making people believe that are real, but they're really not real. And they're like, if you call them on it, they're like, I'm a storyteller. What are you talking about? Why are you mad? You know what I mean? Like, but people are really believing that these are real stories that are actually happening to people out there, and it's not. It's some made up scripts, unfortunately.
Well, and I found this out like my first novel, The Champé. That's a fictional story based on a legend, a Choctaw legend, you know. But I asked the lady that was a copy editor for me. I said, "How much truth is in it? Has to be in a book before it can be based on a real story?" She said, "You would be surprised how low that bar is. Like in movies and stuff, that'll say based on a true story." She said it may only be the name of the place it happened. You know, and you're muted again, Will.
That's unfortunate that happens.
Yeah, but some of the movies that we see based on a true story, it could be the only thing true in it may just be the place it happened, and that
And
there
people,
was an incident there or something, you know.
and people think the whole thing is true. You know, they
Right.
hook, line, and sinker. So yeah, I hope Sasquatch didn't get Brian out there.
Check this out. Squatching Cowboy here. He said, "I searched this area not far from my house for almost a year and never found anything. And this new YouTuber goes out to the same place and said he found 12 Bigfoot the first day." Come on, man. I know what you're saying. What do we call that, Brian? Bigfoot on the brain or monster on the brain? If somebody wants evidence to be there bad enough, they're going to find evidence in everything.
Oh,
and that's something we all got to watch as investigators into this subject, you know.
There's a channel out there, and I won't call them out by name, but they're out in the Rocky Mountain area, and every little thing, man, like every little thing.
What was it? I seen the one video where so he's driving down an interstate in Colorado, and it's very snowy, and trees are like along the edge of the road are like bent a certain direction. That's obviously the storm was blowing them, and it was Bigfoot bent everyone on there to show the other Bigfoots where to.
Hey, to each their own, man. You know,
to me, it's a good laugh. You know, it's like, that's a good one, man. But then there's people that actually believe that. You know,
I remember there was this one video, and we don't have to, pile on this one channel, but they found a footprint on one side of a river, like a big creek, I don't know, 8 foot long, wide creek or something, in the mud, but there were no other tracks anywhere. And they're like, "Oh, it jumped over the mud, over the creek, and its foot stuck in the mud, and then it hopped from here onto that dry land up there." Like, yeah, okay.
Well, I have people send me recordings of vocalizations sometimes. Most of them I'm able to identify. And one person sent me, and they didn't find the footprints, and it was a footprint from down in Louisiana. He said, "Man, what do you think of this? This is great." I said, "It's a fake." And then, "Well, it looks real. How do you know it's fake?" I said, "It's not anatomically correct." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The big toe's on the wrong side of the arch." You know, I mean, it's like, you know, if you pay attention to anatomy and things like that, there's certain things that just, granted, there's sometimes the footprint's not going to be very good. Like I have found and tried to cast prints in a line that were like in the leaf litter that you just can't get a good cast out of. But my mind on stuff like that is I'd rather try it and it not turn out good than leave it alone and go home and say, "Man, I wish I'd have tried."
And wonder, man, what could I have got from that? Absolutely. Another material that would be hard to get tracks from would be like a gravelly material, I would think, like a dirt road.
One of the better tracks I found was close to Mark Copeland's place that I investigated down there closer to Antlers, and it was in some mud. I didn't try to cast it because it had water in it, and it wasn't huge. It was wide though, and there's a picture of it in my book Kiamishi Bigfoot, and it's pretty well pronounced, but it's not. I mean, like I said, it was still in water and stuff, but I got a pretty good picture of it anyway. But
I haven't been lucky enough to come across any prints. When I had my encounter, like I said, it was the fall and it was just all leaves everywhere, so there was really nothing to like.
I think Brian got abducted or something.
Yeah, he said that he might have to hop off
Yeah, yeah. He told me, he said he'd try to come on, but he's out with and most of those folks he's with, I know them, but there's he said not to say where it was, but where they have found some interesting stuff before. We
So
got some new,
Oh, go ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
No, I just acknowledging some more people that's popped in. There's a filthy casual. Has popped in. So go ahead, Will.
I was going to ask you how many more times have you been back to that spot that we went to when I came down?
I went there again a few weeks later, but I didn't camp. Deer season was starting to kick in, bow hunting and all, and I just kind of, went back in. I stay out of there during deer season because it's, you don't want to be traipsing around in the woods too much like that. I don't want to get shot. Last summer, I did not go down there. And I haven't been there this summer. I've just been so doggone busy. Which your lecture about Father Time catching up with us is hitting a little closer to home than you think.
Father Time's undefeated, man. I mean, like Hulk Hogan and Ozzy and them are like hitting home,
No, I don't say that about Ozzy, man.
Yeah,
that hits so hard, man. That Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne has such a huge influence on me musically. Matter of fact, I'm a guitar player in a heavy metal band called National Acrobat, which National Acrobat is a Sabbath song, and we're playing a benefit on October 25th. My son Elijah plays bass in it, and we're working on songs to do an album and stuff. And nice. We're all just so heavily influenced by Ozzy and Black. So my guitar style is probably more influenced by Tony Iommi than any other guitar player. It's just so yeah. I mean, we're getting that age where the musicians and such that we grew up listening to, they're older and they're starting to, pass away and stuff. And it's
that's what I was telling you, Chad. I'm trying to get him to come up to Ohio, like come up to the Squatchy area too. And like I'm telling you, like we're at the age where we have to start doing things that we've always wanted to do, or we're not going to be able to do them. You know what I mean? And I know life gets in the way. Believe me, I know with 2 grandchildren.
But since you're addressing that to chat, Will's encouragement is borderline stalking at this point.
Hey, I try to get him. I try to get him and Cornell for years and years and years, man. And then
when you told me how there's 13, I'm like, man, you put time in this. I got on there. So that's like 800 and something miles from where I live to where you're at. I don't fly. That's the thing. And as of right now, I couldn't if I wanted to because I don't have a real ID.
Yeah.
Well, so now you've got to have the mark of the beast or something before you can even fly anymore. I don't know what.
You can go get an ID. I just don't think you want to fly.
Yeah. Hey, it's an excuse not to. Here's somebody paying you a compliment, Will. He said, this is Verax, says, WillStar, your storytelling and attention to detail really set you apart in this field as someone who clearly values the intersection of folklore, eyewitness accounts, and deeper research. How do you personally determine which stories have teeth, meaning real substance, and which ones are likely noise or misinterpretation?
That's a very, very good question. And first, thank you for the comment. I mean, not comment, what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you for telling me that my videos are good, basically is what you're saying. Compliments, that's the word that escaped me for a minute. As far as like weeding out the real ones from the fake ones, in my opinion, honestly, it's all down to this right here. What I think, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a stupid person. Listen, people don't BS me a lot. They don't get away with it. I can see through things. I'm very observant. I'm very astute with things. So I can like see through. There are a lot of encounters out there that I will not do because of exactly what you're saying. Like it just doesn't pass the smell test. it really has to pass that for me to make the video. Other people be like, hey, I don't care as long as I'm putting a video out every week and making money. Like I said before, that's not how I roll. I don't like to do that. Now, to be fair, there are some certain videos on my channel that I'm like, I don't know if it's real, but it might have been real because it happened back in the 1800s. And, these newspaper accounts, they're not really reports. So I put the video, like the one Jacko, the juvenile Sasquatch in British Columbia.
Right.
A lot of people believe in that. I think, who was it? Even John Green believed in that one. But there are other people that don't believe in that. And to me, I was going back and forth on that one. And I do believe that could have happened. So that's why I ended up putting that video on my channel. But it's basically comes down to, after doing all the research, looking at the places where these occurrences allegedly happened, with Google Earth and checking all that out, doing my research, that's when I make the decision, basically. Yeah, this isn't going to happen. Or, yeah, this actually really did have a really good possibility of occurring, so I'm going to go ahead and make that video. That's where I draw the line. That's how I do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what you're where did my chat go over here? I messed something up here. Studio chat here. Nope. Comments. There they are. But what Rex talked about noise or misinterpretation. Now, the misinterpretation is a hard thing to determine unless you've got, like I said, people will send me pictures of tracks or recordings of vocalizations. Now, sometimes I can tell if that's a misinterpretation, like coyotes can make a wide range of vocalizations. A lot of Sasquatch screams are, if you've ever heard a red fox scream, I encourage you go on YouTube and just type in red fox scream.
Cougars are the same way. They sound like a lady screaming at night.
Right. But when you've got, no, they don't sound like a lady screaming. They sound like somebody going, yeah, like yelling.
Yeah, they do that. But I've heard them also like, ow, like that kind of stuff.
That sounds like a cat, lion, mountain lion.
That's what I'm talking about.
Or are you just as bad at
imitating? I'm talking about the cougars or mountain lions or a cougar.
Oh, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying a red fox.
No. I'm saying cougars make those sound like noises like that also that people misinterpret. Also.
Right. But as far as somebody telling you about something, you really can't tell if that's a misinterpretation if you're not hearing it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
On that, that's not a misinterpretation. There's no dishonesty involved in something like that. And there's the perception too. And I've used this many times before. The first time I spoke at the Honubby thing, I was they put the speakers up in a cabin, and Pete Buffalo Head was one of them. And we were outside, and you've heard people talk about the orbs of light, they'll see like in the woods. We're standing out there talking at night, and we get to see these. There's like two of them, 2 or 3 down there by the woods. Like they look to be like, I don't know, golf ball size or whatever. And it'd been a dry year, and I'm thinking, wow, that is a really neat atmospheric phenomenon, probably static electricity or whatever.
Right.
And Pete said, don't, because I was going down there. I was going to try to get close to him because I was thought, man, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Pete said, don't follow those, David. I said, well, why not? He goes, those are the little people. He said, they'll lead you off in the woods and get you lost. So, okay, you got 2 people seeing the same thing, but having totally different perspectives.
On the spectrum.
Me, and I still think that's what it was. I think it was a atmospheric phenomenon of some kind, I don't know what it is, static, electricity, other things, whatever. But Pete, from his cultural background, that fit into the legend and folklore of the way the little people in their legends manifest themselves.
Right.
So you got 2 people seeing the same thing at the same time, but very different perceptions. Neither of us lying about it, but our perception of what it is very different. So that's another thing, when you're investigating these things that you
have to take into
have
consideration.
to take into consideration. Verac said, David, after all the conversations and encounters you've heard or experienced, what aspect of the Sasquatch mystery keeps you up at night the most, and what question are you still chasing? Well, nothing keeps me up at night. To me, it's not a scary subject at all. As anybody that's been out on any of these investigations with me, my curiosity outweighs anything else. And I will say the only thing in the woods I'm scared of is a bad person that may be out there that's up to no good. I don't think Bigfoot's out to get anybody. If they are, they're not very good at it. I say that a lot.
See, Dave and I differ right there. But go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. What was you going to say?
I differ. Do you not remember when I was in Oklahoma how frightened I was when that rock got thrown into the camp?
I didn't. Well, I was excited.
Well, I mean, I wasn't scared like, oh my God, we're going to die. But I mean, I was like, man, and I'll tell you why, because of all these encounters that I read where, like, if you mess with Bigfoot, like, he's not very peaceful. You know what I mean? So I think that you think that.
Okay, you muted yourself.
Thank you for telling me that. I think that you might think that any Bigfoot you run into out there would just be peaceful and walk away. I don't
think that necessarily.
I think that there's ones out there just like people that would like kill you. Like I believe that. And that's why I think that there's been missing people that go missing in the wilderness all the time. Now, a lot of those are bears and mountain lions and like injuries and falling into a river and drowning. I get all that, landslides, whatever. But there also could be Bigfoot out there that are not very nice, like taking people.
Okay, what I always throw back to is historically, and I use this term, encounters that are negative about Sasquatch that I deem credible. I've gotten some that I think, no, that's just total made up. Sure. But look at, say, the Ape Canyon incident.
Yeah.
What did they do before anything started throwing rocks at them trying to tear their cabin up? They shot one.
You're right. Most of them are instigated. I agree with that part.
The old one with that Teddy Roosevelt wrote about.
The Bauman story.
Bauman incident. The thing was coming around their camp.
Him and his friend,
But when they shot at it and stuff. So, I'm not saying, look, anything is capable. There's the possibility and should be approached with caution, I guess.
And I'm not trying to say all of them are like that. I'm just trying to say they're just like people with the personality. Some of them, like some people you could deal with, or a dog. Like some dogs you can pet. Some dogs are going to bite your hand.
Right.
And another thing is like the people that are missing aren't capable of making a report. So we don't know, like if a person became missing and actually it happened because of a Bigfoot, like we aren't going to know if that person instigated that. You know what I'm trying to say there? Like,
right. Yeah. Really, but I think the majority, when you talk about missing people and stuff, it is. And I'm not saying you at all, Will.
Sure.
But if you're retelling a story about something that's a missing person that they can't explain, isn't it much more entertaining in the telling that they were abducted by a UFO or eaten by a dog man or squashed by Bigfoot than they got lost in the woods,
right,
and fell into something, died, and maybe before anybody could even find them, there's a lot of wilderness left.
That's true. That's what I was saying about like
there was a missing, and a lot of it too is foul play.
Yeah.
Like there was, and this happened here in Southeast Oklahoma. This was years ago, but a young man turned up missing, right? Never found him until probably, it was years and years later. They found his body stuffed inside a hollow log out in the middle of the woods. He had run afoul of some drug dealers, from what I understand, is what they thought, and they killed him and hid the body. Yeah. So there's
I'm not trying to say that all the missing people out there are Bigfoot. In my opinion, it would be less than like probably 5 or 10%. You know, like the number
5 or 10% is a huge number, though.
Lower than that is what I'm trying to say. Like low. You know what I mean? But I'm not. I'm just saying I don't think we can sit here and say that it doesn't happen.
No, yeah, and I'm not. But let me answer this guy's last question here. Is what keeps me up at night? That doesn't keep me up at night. What question are you still chasing? And I'll let Will answer what he thinks too. But me, why haven't we found real solid evidence yet? That question really nags at me.
It does. It's the same answer for me.
Because
it's lack of evidence.
The thing is, people on occasion go out into the woods and they encounter or see one of these things that by all intents and purposes should not be there, yet there it is. They experience these things. What are they, and why can't we get some solid evidence? That's the questions that still kind of bug me. And I know there's some more questions here too. I wanted to get to that one. Go ahead and throw your hat in the ring on that.
I think it's the evidence also, the lack of evidence. The only thing I can, like, when I think about that is there's a little experiment for everybody. You're walking in the woods, all of a sudden, with your friend or your husband and your wife, whoever it is.
I don't know who Joe's calling a big dummy. It's probably me. I don't know.
Maybe, it might be me. Who knows?
Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry.
You're walking in the woods or, on a path in the woods with your wife or your boyfriend or your friend, whoever it might be. And all of a sudden a Bengal tiger runs in front of you. Like, are you going to get your phone out? Like, no, you're going to be like, oh my God, look at that. We got to get out. Like, so a lot of people, skeptics, are like, oh my God, you're out in the woods. If you see it, why don't you take a photo of it? I was in the woods the other day and there was I forget what it was, a deer went by. And I was with my grandchildren. I tried to get my phone out. By the time I got my phone out, the deer was gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as easy as people think it is to get something out.
Throw this in the mix. Throw this in the mix. A deer is run-of-the-mill animal that we see all the time, and you still have trouble. Throw something in the mix that is not supposed to exist.
I said a Bengal tiger in the woods, right?
For instance, a similar deal to you. I was deer hunting year before last. I'm sitting in my deer stand, and an otter of all things goes loping across this little area right in front of me. And I'm like, I've never seen an otter in the wild up here before. And I'm going to get my phone out. By the time my phone's out to take the picture, it's disappeared into the grass,
Right.
So yeah. Okay. The big dummy, squatching cowboy and somebody's having a red fox back and forth on here.
All right. And Esther.
Fred says, yeah, that was a good show. Squatchy Cowboy. Why do tracks just end? I haven't encountered that myself necessarily. I followed a good string of tracks into the woods from close to my. Actually, Will, you remember when we're driving into that area we went? The first area I told you I camped a long time ago that was more open. One had stepped in the edge of a mud hole right by the camp there and across the road. And I was able to follow those tracks for a good while, but through the leaf litter. The only good one you could really tell definition was the one that was, in the mud. But you could see it going up. I mean, you know how rocky it was. Eventually, you'd lose track of them.
Yeah, there's no soil.
As far as just ending in thin air, I have no idea. I would actually have to question that a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I mean, so here's a question.
Dreamland 051. Never find them if nobody's looking for them. For every person actively looking, 10,000 people couldn't care less and don't pay it any attention. That's a good point.
That's facts.
Yeah, good point.
So do you or chat think that these creatures use trees a lot more than we think that they do? Like up in the trees, like bigger trees, obviously they're not going to be in the trees like that are behind you there, but
you know about climbing trees?
Or just like resting in trees, sleeping in tree, like at night, like just to get up out of. I don't know. I'm just, I'm always trying to think of things that they're out there doing.
Mhm.
Like why don't people see them? Are we not looking up enough?
I'm going to relate that to another animal, black bear. We do have a lot of black bear down here in southeast Oklahoma. A friend of mine that bear hunts, um, he said sometimes if you see a bear run off, like a big one, he said always look up, because if there were cubs tend to want to go straight up those trees.
Yeah.
I've only seen a bear live, not live, out in the wild twice. But one time I was driving, it ran off, obviously. The other time is down there, where we went over that hill and down into those bottoms and hiked on that trail.
Yeah.
This was years ago. One of them was in the trail way ahead of me, and it saw me and took off back into the woods. That's the only time I've seen them live, but they're everywhere down here.
Yeah.
But they're still kind of shy. But going back to like Bigfoot, obviously I don't know, but if it was an animal or it's Bigfoot, whatever, in the 8 or 9 foot tall thing, I'd say it'd have a hard time down in this part of the country doing that. But something small, like a smaller one, I wouldn't see why not. But
like juveniles,
definitely something to think about. And
yeah, because up here in this area, down there too. I don't know. I just think that some of the trees could handle an adult Sasquatch. They're that big in the areas that, by that cabin that I go to. And I just don't think that people look up enough when we're out there looking for them.
And you may have a point. Connie Bullard said, I've heard they're interdimensional and can appear and disappear. That's, I think, Ron Moorhead wrote a book about that.
Yeah.
Personally, I've never found or seen anything in my own personal experience. I don't discount the paranormal. I haven't found anything, me personally, that Bigfoot is connected to that. Now, when you're talking about certain other things, like Brian, he looks into that dogman thing. I think that if that's real, that just has to be a paranormal something. I don't think that's something that biologically would come about in a normal way.
Yeah, and I see.
That is a good point. Dreamland, human ignorance is Bigfoot's greatest camouflage. That could well be.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm see if I'm missing anything over Ontario. I don't know that guy. Okay, this is for you, I guess. Bam, you are on the money with that question, Will. I firmly believe that they spend a ton of time in trees. Yeah. Some witnesses have said they have seen them run the treetops. That would have to be a small one to do that. David and or Will, have either of you heard of or experienced the feeling of being completely frozen or paralyzed by Sasquatch? Me, no, absolutely not. Will?
I've heard encounters of that happening to people where they got so scared that they were just like frozen in their tracks, couldn't move. But when I had my encounter, no, actually, it was the opposite for me. I don't know if anybody in the chat is aware of my encounter, but I was mad. I wasn't a Bigfoot. I wasn't into Bigfoot back at the time. I was at a cabin with my daughter's mother at the time, and we were just looking to have a good time, and it was bothered. I didn't know what it was at first, and then it came up to the tree line, and like I said, I wasn't thinking Bigfoot back at that time. I was just like mad that something came up and was scaring her. So
Well, at first you thought it might have been a person. Didn't you?
That's exactly right. I thought it was a person until I saw it up at the tree line how big it was, and then, like I told you before and told everybody in chat, I threatened to shoot it. And I counted down. I'm like, I'm going to blow your brains out, bro. You better say something right now. You better say something. And it just kept doing this behind a tree. And then, like I said, I picked up I had that torch in my hand. And I whipped it at it, wah, 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 and I screamed at it like a dog. Get out of here. and it literally turned around and lumbered out back into the woods, man. Worst mistake in my life, obviously, but that's happened in 2000 before phones or anything like that. So everybody's like, oh, you could have got film of it. We didn't have any camera or anything like that. But, thinking back on it now that I researched this stuff, it's like, what a wasted opportunity, man. What's the chances of me ever having an encounter like that again? Like, what's the chances of somebody winning Super Lotto twice? Like, it doesn't really happen, and I come to grips with that I wasted that opportunity. But like I said, back then that was the furthest thing from my mind, especially at that time, at that night. So,
well, here's one for you. Gary Spock Sr. said, I had one in a tree right behind my house, and it wasn't a juvenile.
There you go. I think
somebody he's from down here. He's a friend. And let me see here. Verac says, same, Gary Spock Sr. I'm going to send you some photos when I get back from my cabin next weekend. Excellent. And Kelly, who are you asking about somebody passing? Oh, I think she's talking about somebody else on that.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, we've got a few people in chat now.
Nice.
If anybody has any questions for me or Will, we're getting past the hour here, but if anybody has any questions, just ask. We'll either know something neat or not.
We'll keep you entertained.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was out last Sunday. I was out in the woods roaming around. And I don't know if do you have chanterelle mushrooms up where you're at?
We do.
I have never looked for mushrooms this time of year, and I found some chanterelles, and nice. I tell you, I find the morels down here. I love eating morels. They're, just a few weeks in the springtime, they're available. And I found these on our property out there just everywhere, and I picked them, and I was like, I'll eat a few, man. I sauteed them in butter and soy sauce and ate every one of them. They're delicious. And I've never had them before.
Yeah, I'm allergic to mushrooms, so I can't eat any mushrooms.
That is so sad.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm missing, actually, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, chanterelles are a delicacy up here. People love them, man. And they go in the woods and pick them all the time.
Hey, there's my buddy Pyro there. You gonna make the Honubby thing or the book signing thing here in about a week, Pyro? This is a good point here. Connie said people would freak out if they knew of all the creatures in this world. Just because we don't see them don't mean they don't exist.
Facts.
And that's
a fact.
No doubt.
Yep.
Not saying Will didn't see what he saw, but I made a video of a black bear standing up, scratching his back on a tree. I think this might be what some people are seeing.
That's true. I mean, it wasn't what I saw, but that's
right.
Actually true. I mean, this thing walked up into from a long ways away. So,
at what point, Will, did you go from thinking it was possibly a person to this isn't a person?
When I walked her to the cabin and let her in, and I had that torch in my hand, and I went over closer to it, and then I could see how actually massive it was behind that tree. And like I've told you, David, before, and I don't know if chat knows this, I used to play basketball like on a pretty high level. Played against a lot of 7-footers is what I'm trying to say. So I know a 7-foot tall person.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was 7 foot tall and about 400, 500, 600 pounds, right? Like, I've met Shaquille O'Neal in person, didn't play basketball against him or anything. And this thing was bigger than Shaquille O'Neal. And we're in the middle of the woods. So 2 and 2 make 4, right? You know what I mean? And especially when I'm like, hey, I'm going to draw it down on you and blow your brains out. And I started counting down. And it would just like doing this behind a tree. Like this. Like not even acknowledging what I'm saying. Like if it's a person, and I'm about to shoot you, you're gonna be like, hey, hold on. I'm just, like, I'm not gonna take a chance of getting a bullet in the brain out here. I'm gonna say something. And it just turned around and walked away. Like I said, back into after I threw the torch that I had in it, I threw the torch, like, get out of here. Like I said before, and it turned around and walked away. But at first, when it started walking, you could tell that it was bipedal. Like when we could hear it from far away, it would take 2 steps and then stop for like 10, 15 seconds. 2 more steps, like 15, 20 seconds. 2 more, maybe 4, 6, and then stop for like 15, 20. And then it just kept making its way all the way up to the tree line where we were. And then, so obviously it's a person or something else. I wasn't thinking about Bigfoot at the time. So I'm thinking it's a person, right? I go up there and then all of a sudden, like, that's not a person. It shocked me, man. And I'm like, that's not a person. But at the time, like I said, I'm worried about her being frightened and ruining our weekend. And I'm just like mad. That's honest to God's truth of how I was feeling at the time. I wasn't feeling like, oh my God, what is that? Oh my God. I was mad. I'm like, get out of here. You're ruined. Whatever you are, get out of here. And yeah, that's when I realized in my mind that was not a person and that was a Sasquatch Bigfoot.
And isn't
too big? It didn't reply to my threats. Where we were, it walked all the way up to the camp. There were no huffs or something you would hear from a bear. It stood up like facing me, but behind the tree. A bear, if it's gonna scratch its back, is like doing this. It was on the other side of the tree with this like hands on it, like looking like this on the other. So yeah, that's how I know it wasn't a bear.
Isn't that an area where there's a lot of Bigfoot reports?
There's a lot. Now, Salt Fork Lake is a little bit further north than where I am. Where I am is actually more into the Appalachian Mountain. Not where I am, where I live, but where the cabin is.
Right.
More into the Appalachian Mountains down in there. So it's more wooded and more forestry than up at Salt Fork. Salt Fork is a park, and it has a lot of woods and forest around it, but it doesn't have the hills. It does have hills, but it doesn't have the mountains like the area that I go visit.
Pyro, I'm not sure. I don't know what the carving boulder is. I haven't heard of that. Oh, no. Yeah, okay, never mind. Now I'll have to show you this sometime, Will. My it's legit. My cousin, and it's actually probably not much more than a mile behind the house in a canyon. He found some sandstone out of the edge of a cliff, and someone had carved, it's a native artifact, a couple of footprints in it, and one is a human looking footprint, not big, like a regular human size, and then the other looks like it, of all things, like an alligator's footprint, but it's carved in sandstone.
Wow.
And it's I think it is legit, Pyro. But I've got pictures of it. He took several pictures of it. I haven't found it myself, and I've got to get him down here sometime and let him lead me to it, because there's a big canyon back there that crisscrosses a lot, has some wings off of it and such too. But yeah, it is. It's prehistoric, obviously, as far, prehistoric Indian.
And this is in Oklahoma?
Yeah, here in Hughes County. Okay. I don't know. Gosh, that however old that is, what tribe? It had to been tribes native to this area, but that's neat. I'll have to show you that picture sometime. I've got one picture he sent me, and I've seen the others he's got. Connie, I'm going to email you a strange pic that's on my security camera. I'd like you to take a look at it. I'd be happy to, Connie. And if anybody, and just in case anybody doesn't have my email, if you have anything you would like to send me to look at, it's bigfootandmore@yahoo.com. That's bigfootandmore@yahoo.com. and I'd be happy to look at it. So here's somebody from Ohio. WillStar, what's good?
That's my buddy from Ohio.
Oh, okay. So you know that.
What's up, Dev?
Here's a Sherry Porter says, I'm sure there's some near Tahlequah. A friend who lives up on the mountain that backs up the Nickel Reserve has heard a lot of sounds she's convinced are Bigfoot. Spent 2 hours. Make sure I don't miss any questions or anything here.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Good one. Wow.
Pyro, I may have access to a few thousand acres of hunting land by Honubby soon. That sounds neat.
It's a lot of land.
And everybody listen to Squatching Cowboy. Y'all hit that thumbs up.
Absolutely.
I get on these podcasts and stuff, and I forget to even say things like that. I enjoy interacting with people and seeing what people's thoughts are on things, and I don't care if the views are different than mine or whatever. I like to hear them. I like to, because I think that's the way you learn about stuff. Discuss it all and make your own mind up.
Not the only one.
Yeah, sure would be. Very familiar with alligator footprints. Florida Seminole war history. Well, Will, you got anything else you want to talk about? You're muted.
I didn't see the sign. Okie doke. No, I think we covered it all pretty good tonight, David. I enjoyed the live stream. I hope the chat did also.
Yeah, and we lost Brian. I was going to get him to talk a little bit about his input on the chapter in the new book on other reported mysteries.
Well,
Pyro
have a better time than we are. That's for sure.
Yeah.
In the field.
I found a 6-inch juvenile track with a stride longer than mine that came off the Nichols Preserve onto the Illinois River a month ago. Interesting. Squatching Cowboy, what's the strangest thing y'all have found in the woods?
That's a good question. I mean, I found structures type stuff that, people could interpret as being like a Bigfoot structure.
Mm.
Not saying that I did, but some people could. That's about it for me.
Okay.
If we're talking Bigfoot stuff, I mean.
Well, what your encounter was, that would have to be the strangest.
I didn't find anything in the woods. I thought he meant walking through the woods and just stumble up on something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought he meant.
But back to Pyro about that carving rock or whatever. In that same general area, I found on a really big sandstone, there's a concave surface where a long time ago it looks like somebody had used it to grind whatever they were, raising at that time.
Sure.
However long ago that was.
Well, that would make sense. They did that a lot back then.
Oh my gosh. One day I need to tell Dave the story when I dragged off a dead gator that turned out to be still alive. Okay. Now I almost feel bad about telling this story because I would never do anything like this. I'm so not mean to anything, animals or whatever. But when my kids were little, I was driving home and in the little community I live in, there's a dead squirrel laying in the road, right? Dead squirrel. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to cut that squirrel's tail off and I'm going to take it home and show it to the kids. So I get out, it's dead squirrel's laying there. I cut its tail off and bring it home. And a few days later, I saw a squirrel without a tail run across the road. And I figured what had happened is that thing had missed a limb and fell down and knocked itself out. That's the only thing. And people were saying they were seeing a ground squirrel in town. And I know it sounds funny, but I felt so bad about it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I'm like, man, think if it had woke up when I was doing that, it would have bit
Tore
in
you up. Yeah,
But
whatever.
yeah, that's terrible.
That's
Verax says, thank you, fellas. It's been great. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, experience, and encounters. Really appreciate answering the questions. And man, and thanks for being such a active part of the chat, man. Enjoy the questions. And everybody else, thanks for stopping by and joining in on the conversation. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed it. Like I say, we lost Brian. He's out
looking for Sasquatch.
Looking for Sasquatch. And we lost him, so he didn't get to talk about his part in the book. But I say, just if you're so inclined, my new book, Oklahoma Bigfoot and Other Reported Mysteries, is available on Amazon if you would like to check it out. And my other 2 books are on there too. Will, dude, thanks for stopping by. It's been a while since we've hung out or anything,
Anytime, brother. You know that.
For sure.
Always enjoy it.
Anyway, I guess we're going to call it a night, and everybody in chat and is watching, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you, chat.
And
thank you for the question.
Till next time, you guys take care.
Later.